Hi, my name is Heather Mann, and I am doing my presentation on the transferred employee. I'm an administrator of a department in a healthcare organization that recently been reorganized. Other personnel from different units were permanently transferred into my department, and it was to help with taking care of additional tasks to support our mission and vision of the healthcare organization. After 2 months, an employee asked to have his annual review done because it wasn't done prior to him being transferred. However, I didn't feel like I knew the person, so I contacted his prior administrator, who refused to do so. Even though that they didn't think that they had to do one, it was going to create a red flag for HR, and negatively put a reflection on the supervisor's management. So I decided to go to my supervisor about this. Even though it has not been a full 90 days, I still am contemplating what I should do. My supervisor suggested that I go back to my office and retrieve the transfer documents that were already in place and replace them with new ones that have dates that would um, coincide with a transfer date of yesterday, and that way it would minimize the conflict of the annual review that was supposed to have been done. Even though that it happens all the time, I feel like I don't feel comfortable um, changing the date, and I have issues thinking that it might be an ethical issue to change the dates and make it look like the employee was transferred just the other day. So I confirmed with the legal counsel that it was not a legal issue. However, I still did not feel comfortable changing documents and shredding the original transfer papers. I know going back to my supervisor and confronting him and talking to him would create some issues, but I feel like I need to do what is best. And so I decided to uh, go back to my supervisor and talk to him about it more. I know that he doesn't like me coming back for things that he will have to repeat, but I have strong convictions about it. One of the main reasons why I want to confront my supervisor and tell him how I feel about changing documents is that morally, to me, is wrong. Ethically, it's borderline. But I feel like even though the employee was with me for 60 days, it was not within the 90 days that the employee had been transferred into my department. They should be able to at least give me some clue of how the employee was doing in their department. I feel like I should be able to hand it off back to them to do it, and there shouldn't be any consequences from HR. So telling my supervisor that the deadline hasn't changed, he should refer back to the prior administrator and let them know that they need to have it done and back me up on my decision. Before I contact the HR department, I wanted to have a conference call between my supervisor and the prior administrator about this employee. It has been only 60 days rather than 90 days in this department. The employee should have the best resource for his evaluation, and that comes from the last administrator. The administrator needs to know that morally it is the correct thing to do, and ethically as well. If the prior administrator does not wish to turn in an evaluation on the employee, then I would like to have enough evidence to put on the evaluation as to how the employee's performance was for the past year. So the administrator should be able to enlighten me about their work in their department. The administrator just needs to give me the information so that way we don't have the issue of contacting HR and it would not look badly on the administrator. The ethical framework regarding to the scenario is the deontology framework. It is an ethical framework and philosophy of resource allocations that suggests actions that should be judged right or wrong based on their own values and principle-driven characteristics. According to Ledlaw and Stevens, the preponderance of the mass is not a major consideration, and the needs of the one outweighs the needs of the many. It composes the idea that people should be treated with dignity and respect, identifying one's duty and action accordingly. So the administrator needs to be able to do the prior evaluation. If not, they need to give me sufficient evidence to do the evaluation myself and fall back on them to be able to give me that information. Of course, there are contradictions or cons that will conflict with this decision. There may be disagreements about the principle involved in the decision, and there is a possibility of making the right choice with a bad consequence. Also, there's a possibility that it would have a conflict in duties. But the thing that makes it good is that it is the strongest model that would apply public relation ethics. I feel like I should not have to change any dates to do the evaluation, but getting information from the resource that had the employee and they have knowledge of that employee, they should be able to give me that information, and I would be able to do an efficient evaluation for that administrator.